Yo, what's good, boys? It is Friday, February 6th, and we took an A+ setup today. We got stopped out break even on it, unfortunately, but it was an amazing setup, and I'm going to go over exactly why and how I took it. I had a completely undefeated week. I did not take one losing trade this week, which was absolutely crazy. Make sure to check out the link in the description for my affiliate codes. There is an Apex 80% off, as well as Tradeify 30% off and 40% off their 150K select accounts. Get those discounts in the link in the description with my code. If you would like to support me, it would mean the absolute world to me. Also hit the subscribe button and drop a like on this video if you wouldn't mind while you're down there. But let's just hop straight into the trade recap. So we will go ahead and replay over to 9:30, and I'll show you guys exactly what I was looking for. I'm gonna get rid of all of these drawings so that we can go over this trade as I was looking for it. So the very first thing I'm looking for before market opens is 4-hour or 1-hour gaps, fair value gaps, that is, to play off of where I want to see some rejection out of. So the first one I saw was right here on the 4-hour, and then I dropped down to the 1-hour time frame, and I also saw this one as well. So I went ahead and marked out those two boxes right there. Then I dropped down onto the 5-minute time frame, and I looked at where price was at open relative to London and Asia highs and lows from the overnight sessions. And I can see that we had untested London lows as well as untested Asia lows right here. We also had untested Asia highs and London highs from yesterday's overnight session, The next thing I'm going to do is identify my higher time frame bias. The higher time frame bias was short today. This overnight session was extremely bullish, but with how bearish we've been this entire week and a very strong draw on liquidity right down here, I was still super bearish coming into open today, and I was only looking to take shorts. So with that in mind, I then hopped down back onto the 5-minute time frame and waited for market open. Now, since price opened up in between these two areas, I was a little skeptical of what to do. I knew I was only looking for shorts, but I was going to have to see an A+ setup only to take a trade. What I ideally wanted to see was us come up into this gap. This is the 4-hour gap that we marked out. Reject out of this, create a 5-minute fair value gap on the way down, retest the 5-minute fair value gap and respect it, and then get a 1-minute inversion out of it, which is exactly what happened, and that's the trade we took, which you'll see in just a second. So first thing we did right at market open was immediately tap into this 1-hour gap from right here and rip off of it. That was good because what I wanted to see, like what I just said, is us to tap into this 4-hour gap and then reject out of it. On the higher time frame, this big move up from overnight was really just a pullback for me before making our next leg down. Target this area of liquidity down here, which is has been my main draw the entire week. Now I'm waiting for us to test this. Okay, we're testing it. Now I want to see a nice rejection out of this zone. Boom, we start to get it right there. So perfect. That's our first confluence. So first couple things out of the way are already what? We have our higher time frame bias set, which is to the downside. Next, we want to see a rejection out of a higher time frame zone in our desired direction. In my case, it was this 4-hour gap that we came up to test and then rejected out of it. Perfect. Now, next, what we're looking for is a 5-minute fair value gap to the downside to be created after we reject out of this higher time frame zone. So now after that rejection, I'm waiting for a 5-minute FEG to be created, and we create one right here. I'm going to go ahead and label this just because we're going to start having a lot of drawings on here in a second. 5-minute FEG right here, and I'll also mark these out just for the sake of you guys being able to see it. Now, two confluences have lined up. We have our higher time frame bias. We rejected out of the higher time frame zone, which was the 4-hour FEG, and then we created that 5-minute FEG. Now I want to see us tap back into that 5-minute FEG. I'm going to hop down onto the 1-minute. After creating that 5-minute FEG, I want to see us tap back up into this and respect it. If another 5-minute is to form on the way down, I will mark that out, but it wasn't. Right here, we got that retest. Okay, perfect. That's what we want to see. So now we got that retest, and you can see we respected it. Now I mark out this 1-minute gap that was formed on the retest. Now I want to see an inversion of that zone right here, this 1-minute FEG. That's going to confirm our bearish structure to play to the downside to target our low of day. So now pretty much everything is lining up. This is an A+ setup. All 4 of our confluences have now hit. We did get the inversion right there, and that's where I took my entry. Now, the reason I took this entry was, now again, I'm just going to keep repeating it to really drill this into your guys' mind, because this strategy has been literally, like I said, I went undefeated this week and undefeated last week. Granted, I did only take 2 trades last week, but both of them won. The win rate on this strategy is absolutely insane just because there are so many confluences and you do get super high probability setups, and you often are able to avoid fake outs because of the 5-minute respect on the fair value gap plus the 1-minute inversion. That combination of confluences is going to give you extremely high probability setups and confirm that structure and avoid you getting faked out. I have my stop loss right there at the high, and I have my TP right there at low of day, or an opposing draw. If say that wasn't there, I probably would have targeted maybe the halfway point of this gap, this 1 hour gap, or the bottom of it. But since we had that really clear draw right there from open, that's where I put my TP for about a 1.3R. So we have our stop loss there, TP there. We're now in the trade, and I'm going to go break even right here at this internal low. The reason that we go break even right there at that internal low is because anyone that entered longs right here on this little, rejection, because you have to think about it like this. Another thing people are looking for, some people probably have this gap marked out. I believe this was a 5-minute gap as well. So yeah, let's say we had this 5-minute gap marked out. That did get inverted, but for anyone who did want to play off of this area or this gap right here, probably would have entered longs around right here, and they have their stop loss here. So this is now an area of liquidity. This is basically our internal low for anybody in longs, because there's a lot of stop losses right there. So there's a high probability that we could sweep that low and then reverse to the upside. That is why we go break even at that level. So I entered this, we pretty much hit break even and then got stopped out in about 4 minutes. We were up about 55 points on this trade. I had about 55 points on the table, but obviously we're going to follow our rules. We're not cutting anything early around here, keeping our stop loss and take profit where they are, shit like that. That got tapped. I moved my SL to break even, and then we got stop break even. And look what happened after that. We have now started to reverse back to the upside. Price is a little choppy when you look at it on the 5-minute, and we are really starting to bounce between these two gaps. I think that if this gap wasn't down here, this would have dumped. I think this PD array, or whatever you want to call it, this gap is kind of what has been holding us up. I do think on the higher time frame for the rest of the day, or eventually we are going to get that next move down to continue this higher time frame trend, guys. But pretty much that was an A+ setup, like literally as perfect as it possibly gets. We had the higher time frame rejection out of that 4 hour gap. We created a 5-minute fair value gap on the way down, which was right here. We tapped into that, respected it, created a 1-minute inversion. We take our entry right there, stop loss at the high we created off of the respect of the 5-minute. Go break even once the trade takes out that recent internal low, which was right here. Eliminate getting faked out possibly. So unfortunately, we did get stopped out break even on this, but break even is better than red. And like I said, I'm undefeated this week. Every other trade I've taken this week has hit, so I'm really not mad at this setup at all. But guys, with that being said, just a quick little trade recap. I probably will do some kind of in-depth strategy video, even though I feel like you really can get, like, this strategy is extremely simple to understand. I just love it so much because I'm just so confident getting into these trades, because I know that even if there's a low chance that I get stopped out. Like, worst case scenario most times is getting stopped out break even, because a lot of times that internal low is going to get swept or taken out, because a lot of people that are in longs right here have their stop loss right there. So price wants to come down here, and then once we get to our break even, it's a risk-free trade, and then it's just a matter of if we're going to fully flush or if we're going to reverse. So today we ended up fully reversing, and now we're kind of chopping around. So I am done for the week. Undefeated week, guys. That's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys all have a great weekend and had a great trading week. If you did, let me know how you did in the comments. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. I'm really just trying to stay as consistent as possible. Drop a like while you're down there, and check out the links in the description for discounts on Apex and Tradeify that are on right now. With that being said, love you guys so much, and I will see you all maybe this weekend for some kind of video. I don't know. I kind of want to start making some vlogs, so maybe we'll do that. I am going out tonight with some of the boys, so maybe I'll record a little bit of that and try to get out a little vlog this weekend or something like that, because I do want to get into more of lifestyle content like that for you guys, and I just think, I personally just enjoy doing it. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you all on Monday if that doesn't happen for another trade recap. Peace out. I love you guys.